And this interest in how these patterns of difficulty and suffering and joy and kindness develop is how we develop resilience. Resilience for the suffering that we encounter, resilience in the good times and the bad times. And through the practice, we discover that it is not as scary to be with these difficulties as we might have thought. That our heart can hold it. And this realization is the foundation for compassion. The realization that we can hold suffering in our hearts and we don't have to drown in it. That we can be with it and open to it. And this wisdom, this inner wisdom that shows us that in the long run it doesn't lead anywhere to run away from the difficulties in life. That being with it is what is leading onward. Whether it's our own suffering or others' suffering. And so these two aspects, compassion and wisdom, are in some Buddhist traditions called the two wings of the same bird. These are the two wings we need to fly. We need those on our journey, both. And we've been developing so much of this wisdom wing by opening to whatever arises in our present moment experience, by looking at the characteristics of the object. And this is exactly what will help us in also developing the compassion. And so tonight I'd like to offer a little bit of a compassion practice. Traditionally speaking, that goes the same as the metta practice. So in the sense that it uses phrases. It are different phrases though. So compassion phrases, or compassion itself, is basically this kindness and care of metta directed towards suffering. So when they're suffering, the appropriate response is compassion. And if there's no suffering, if it's just kind of a normal social situation, then metta is the appropriate response. And the beautiful thing is that we could also hold ourselves with compassion. So we can direct it both to ourselves and others. And so we'll start with a very simple breathing exercise from scientist Kristin Neff, who did a lot of self-compassion work. And then we'll go into the more maybe some of the traditional phrases, or they might not be super traditional, but more of the creative version of the traditional phrases. So let's settle in to the practice. So let's settle into our posture, first floor, if you haven't already. And noticing the body sitting. Noticing how the body touches the surface beneath it. Maybe it touches a chair or floor, cushion, bench. Just kind of noticing that there's actually a whole earth beneath you. Even if you're, for those at home who might be in an apartment building or a condo, like there's, through the walls and the foundation, you're still connected to the earth. And then you can become aware of your breathing. Noticing how the breath comes in through the nostrils, down to the chest and the belly. And Kristin Neff, the scientist, suggests to breathe in affection and kindness for yourself. And breathe out affection and kindness for others who might be suffering. Breathing in affection and kindness for ourselves. Breathing out affection and kindness for the world. And you could spend the whole sit this breathing exercise if you want to. And just kind of let my words be in the background. And for those who want to engage in the compassion practice, or the more traditional phrases, I'll offer some of that. And so I would like to invite you to check in. What do you need right now? Do you need some self-compassion? Do you need to hold yourself in a warm embrace? Or is there like a lot of peace or calm or kindness present, and you would like to offer the compassion to others? Also see what is right for you. And so if you want to offer it to others, then see if there's some being coming to mind that you'd like to offer the phrases to, these wishes of compassion. I would suggest not to choose a being that's very difficult, but someone somewhat easy, or some being. And then we can offer these phrases to ourselves or the other, whoever we've chosen. May you or I have the strength to face your suffering. You can see if you can wish this from this center of the chest, this heart area. May you or I have the strength to face your suffering. If it's helpful, you can put a hand on your heart area and or your belly, or another area that feels that it needs some touch. May you or I rest in the arms of compassion. May you or I rest in the arms of compassion. Sometimes Kuan Yin is being seen as the embodiment of compassion, so maybe you could also wish, may you or I rest in the arms of Kuan Yin. This beautiful awakened female being. May you or I meet this suffering with tenderness and love. May you or I meet this suffering with tenderness and love. This part of being human, to feel this suffering. You or I are not alone in this suffering. May you or I be completely, utterly free from suffering. Let the practice fade to the background, feeling the body, feeling the heart. Opening to whatever has arisen through the practice. Tenderness, love, difficulty. The Buddha. It is the heart's release by compassion that is the escape from thoughts of harming. It is the heart's release by compassion that is the escape from thoughts of harming. May all beings be free from enmity and danger. May all beings be free from mental suffering. May all beings be free from physical suffering. May all beings care for themselves happily.